Alright, so we just did an activity. Ava, come back to your seat. We just did an activity where we had a triangle. We drew how many midsegments? How many? 3 midsegments. Thank you, John Kendall. We drew 3 midsegments, and it formed how many triangles?
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 triangles, okay? Raise your hand and tell me what we learned was true about those 4 triangles. Tori.
All the triangles were congruent.
They were all congruent. And hopefully, if you did your midpoints right, they were congruent no matter how weird your original triangle looked. Not everyone drew a perfectly equilateral triangle. Not everyone drew a right triangle. We all drew different triangles. So we use this word. All of the 4 triangles were congruent. Someone pick another word from my list and give me a sentence about that word. Torn again.
Oh.
Go for it, girl. And then I'll go to Kendall. What?
Can I say the midpoint? But it's not the midpoint, it's the segment.
Okay, what were you going to say about the midsegment?
It took 2 of them to make the base.
Good. So maybe this word?
Yeah.
So the midsegment is
Half
of the...
base.
Very good. The midsegment is 1/2 of the base. It takes 2 of these to make one of these. Look. 1, 2. Cool.
So
Megan, what do you want to say?
The
Sorry,
midsegment-
Tori, I cut you off.
The midsegment is parallel to the base.
Ding, 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 ding. Perfect. If this is a true midsegment, it has the same slope as the base. Very good. All right. We made some conjectures. Go ahead and write this definition down in your notes. This is what a midsegment really is. We are skipping that top box. I'm not making you do 1, 2, and 3. You may skip those. You may skip 1, 2, and 3 and go on to midsegment. It is the segment, write the word segment, connecting the midpoints of 2 sides of a triangle. So if you find a midpoint and you connect the dots, you have made a mid-segment. That's what a mid-segment is. It's like a midpoint, except it's a segment, not a point. What do all these tick marks mean? What's congruent? Tell me what's congruent. What? Tell me which sides. Not the angles, the sides, yes.
A, B, and AC.
No, that's not what it's saying. We're not saying that AB is congruent to AC.
AE is congruent to AB.
No, not even saying that. Oh, Brett, let's call him Brett.
AE is congruent to EC and AD is congruent to...
Yep, A is congruent to B, and we'll call it C is congruent to D. If something has 1 tick mark, it's congruent to the other thing with 1 tick mark. So it's saying this is congruent to this, and then this piece is congruent to this piece, okay? So it is really saying D is a midpoint, and it's really saying E is a midpoint. That's what those tick marks are showing. All right, conjecture. If you draw all 3 midsegments of a triangle, you end up with 4 congruent triangles. True statement. I didn't make you fill in much at all. I should have left those completely blank.
No, thank you.
I'm treating you like middle schoolers. Fill in the blank with this one word. All right, so moral of the story, if I take this triangle, it's congruent to this triangle. I'll rotate this one in a minute. Which is congruent to this triangle, which is congruent to this triangle. Let's rotate this one just to make sure. Well, it's just the way I drug it. Okay, so all 4 are congruent. Wait, Miss Tannen, does it still work if the triangle is weird looking, if it's obtuse? Do all 4 of those look congruent?
Yes.
They didn't really look congruent to me at first, but let's make sure. Oops. Are you going to drag? I made you to drag. Oh, I made the edges to drag. Okay. So does that equal that? Looking good? Does it equal that?
That's a weird triangle.
And then the final test is always this middle one. When I rotate, I'm not changing the size or the shape. I'm simply changing the orientation. All 4 of them are congruent. So that's a cool thing, really cool thing about triangles. All right, we already talked about this. You already know the answer. How does the length of this compare to the length of this? The midsegment is half the base. The base is, what's the opposite of half? Opposite of half.
4. Opposite of half.
Opposite of 1/2.
Oh.
2.
2. Double. Double and half are opposites. Double and half. I play this game with my girls in the car. We play the opposite game. What's the opposite of night? Day. What's the opposite? I'm sure they could have gotten this. Anyway.
Okay.
The opposite of half is double. So the midsegment is half the base. The base is double the midsegment. So if the midsegment is 11, what's the base?
22.
22. If the base is 100,
50.
what's the midsegment? 50. So you're either halving things or you're doubling things. All right, so there we go. Write it down. A midsegment of a triangle is parallel to the third side, and it's half of the third side. I was using the word base, but just to let you know, there's 3 different bases, so you have to kind of be aware of which one is the base that you're looking at a time, because there's 3 different bases. So there is the conjecture in symbols. Segment DE is parallel to segment BC. And here's the math in symbols. 2 times DE equals BC. How come I put bars over it here, but I didn't put bars over it there? Who knows the answer to that?
What?
Why did I intentionally put a bar over DE and BC here, but there is no bar over them there? Did I leave it off on accident? Brett.
No, because it's 2
Because they're not
of the
aligned.
DE and 2 of DE equals BC.
Yes, but how come I didn't put segment bars?
They're mid. Or they're
No one knows?
I have no.
they're mid segments. So it's not
No, that's not
really
the reason. No one knows? Up here, these are segments. A segment is parallel to a segment. Down here, these are numbers. This is the distance from D to E. That's a number, not a segment. This is the distance from B to C. That's a number. So you don't put segment symbols over numbers. You put it over segments. So this is an object, and this is a number. Object, number. Okay, y'all don't care. All right, moving on. Let's try an example. Number 1, you should be flipped. You should be on the other side. And you should be able to do this without my help. Absolutely. This whole lesson you should be able to do without my help now that you know the answers to the conjectures. Go. I'm going to start calling names to go to the board. Shoes are so Instead of making you go to the board, I am just going to call your name. Okay, number 1A, Lewis C. What'd you get? 10. Perfect. And Shelby, 1B, what did you get? 14. So on A, that was the base, so we halved it. And on B, that was the midsegment, so we doubled it. Times a half versus times 2. I'm sure there's no questions. Okay. It's just like okay, number 1C, God bless you. This one's a little bit harder because it involves the letter X. But I know you can handle it. Let's let everyone think about it for a second. And then Kendall really wants to answer it. You need to at least write an equation down. You need to at least write something down. You can't just sit there. Which one are we going to double, Torin? Which one are we going to double? The x plus 6 or the 3x plus 4?
3x plus 1.
So this is the midsegment.
Oh, wait, no.
Which one are we going to double?
X plus 6.
X plus 6, okay. So let's double that one, and it equals the base. Double this equals the base. There's your setup. If you can solve for X, you do it. If you can't solve for X, what do? You put that half into
Oh, yeah.
Y1, and you put the other half into
Why
Y2, and you go to your table. You have options.
I didn't know.
Matt, can you distribute this for me?
2x plus 12.
2x plus 12 is 3x plus 4. Kendall, you ready to reveal your answer?
Yeah.
What is it?
8.
12 minus 4. Very good. Is 8. Yep. It's a whole number, so that's nice. Your calculator will solve it for you if you put it into y1 and y2.
Yep.
If you do it by hand, you'll subtract 2x from both sides. You'll get 1 here, 1x. You'll subtract 4 from both sides, and you'll get 8. 1x equals 8. X is 8. Okay, let's move on. PO is a midsegment. Find the perimeter of triangle top. You know what perimeter means, right? You add up the sides. So first you have to find the sides, and then you'll be able to add up the sides.
If this,
Mhm.
this,
Well, so we know if PO is a midsegment, then P is a midpoint. If that is in the middle, and this is 8, what's this? 8. If this is right smack in the middle, and that's 10, then that is 10. If this is 20, this one's different. If this one's 20, this one's not 20, it's half of 20. Very good. Did y'all get that? Do you understand? What's mark on your picture? You mark it. That's 10, and so that's 10. That's 8, and so that's 8. Jeanette, what'd you get for the perimeter? 28. Very good. 10 plus 10 plus 8. This is silly. Equals 28. Okay. You add up the sides. We're going to move on. Find the missing angle measures. Oh, we haven't done anything with angles yet. But we do know that the angles are congruent to their corresponding angle. So if you can just find the one that it goes with, they're just congruent. You don't really have to do any math with it. But you do have to find the one it goes with. Let's do Z first. To find Z, you're just going to find out how many, you're going to remind yourself how many degrees are in a triangle.
180.
180. So Austin, when you have Z, tell me what you got. He's trying to redeem himself. Austin, what's 60 plus 40? 100. So if I've got 180 degrees and I've already used up 100, how much are left? 180 minus 100. Okay. So Z is 80. We've got Z. Now we're going to have to use something from a long time ago. If these are parallel, then 60 and X are called, what's the vocab word I used it earlier today? Very good. Corresponding. They're congruent. Corresponding starts with a C. This is from last semester. Corresponding angles are congruent. Yep, and you could totally, that's a good idea, Tori. Tori was saying, hey, I could take that angle, I could put it directly in X's spot, and it would fit perfectly. So 60-60 is a great idea. 60-60. And then Y is going to be our hardest one. Take a look at Y. So the 40 fits here. It does not fit here. It fits here. So this one is 40. That one's 40, not Y. Y is not 40.
And they're linears.
Linear pair. 180 minus 40, Omar. 140. Ding, ding, ding. It's an obtuse angle. 140. Ask me a question if you don't know how we got Y. Ask me why we got Y. Okay. 180 minus 40 is how we did it. All right, we're getting close. We only have 2 more, I think. Find the perimeter of 10. I'm going to let you work on it by yourself for a minute. And the perimeter of 10. Not the number, the triangle.
Yeah, those are numbers.
Oh, yeah, they're
Use the numbers on the board.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. You got to use the numbers on the board. Sometimes we do that so that y'all won't work ahead. I'm sorry. Some people start working ahead and then they don't listen to the lesson, and sometimes they work it wrong. And so sometimes I try to do this so you won't work ahead.
What are y'all talking about?
What are y'all talking about? So, You're going to find the base, and you're going to half it. And that's the midsegment. You're going to do that 3 times. You're going to find the base, and you're going to half it. You're going to find the base, you're going to half it. You're going to find the base, and you're going to half it. You're going to do that 3 times. This midsegment has UP as its base. See, they each have their own base. This midsegment has PA as his base. And then TE has UA as his base. There's 3 bases, there's 3 midsegments.
So if it's on one side, do you just add to the other side? Like,
Yes, because tick mark, tick mark. So, how long is NE, John? How long is NE? Find the base and cut it in half. Find his matching base, 13, and cut it in half. It's going to be a decimal.
6.4.
Done. 6.5. NE is 6.5. We found the base that's parallel. It's 13, and we cut it in half. 6.5. Catherine, how long is PA? The whole segment. How long is PA? Very good. That's 9. That's 9. So the whole thing is 18. So, Alea, how long is TN? Okay, so find his matching base. There it is, PA. PA is 18. So that is half of 18. 9. We're back at 9 again where we started, which is okay. It's normal.
this looks like a big little mess.
I'm sorry. Ashley, how long is UA? How long is UA?
7.2,
Times 2?
14.4.
14.4. Okay, it's kind of silly because we're doubling it and then we're just going to half it again. That was my bad. But it's the right procedure to do. Okay, Dimitri, last question. How long is TE?
7.2.
Yeah! Now you can find the perimeter. I'll let you do it by yourself. Find the perimeter. You just add them up. 9 plus 7.2 plus 6.5. You can all ask your calculator what that is. All right, last question of the day. These are fun. I like these. Exactly one of the values can be determined. Find it. So, in this one, 2 of these midsegments are just pretenders. They're not really midsegments. One of them is really a midsegment. You have to find out which one is the true midsegment. X, Y, and Z. Only one of these is really a midsegment. Which one is it? John says Y. Who else has a vote? Only one of these is a true midsegment by the definition. Which one is it? You say it's Y. You say it's Y. You're totally wrong. Who's got another idea? Let's find midpoints, guys, because a midsegment connects midpoints.
Oh, wait.
Is this a midpoint? 4 and 4. Yes. Is this a midpoint? 2 and 3. Absolutely not. Is this a midpoint? Good, Alea. 5 and 5. Yeah. So you find your midpoints and you make them big bold dots. And then you connect the dots. That's all you do. It's like a game out of a puzzle book. You connect the dots. Which one is the midsegment? It's X. So how do you find the midsegment? You find the midpoints and you connect the dots. All right, and it's saying how long is X? Well, find the base that goes with it. How long is X's base?
5.
5. Cut it in half.
2.5.
2.5. So X is 2.5. Do exactly what we did, but do it to solve B. Go. Who can do it without?
I did.
Good. Who else wants me to check? Can you do B, please? Let me see. Very good. Very good. They're just staring. Come on! Which one's the midsegment? Which one? It's kind of fun to figure out which one it is. Good. Good. Kendall, which one of these 3 was the real midsegment?
Z.
Z was the real midsegment because you find the midpoint, you find the midpoint, 3, 3, 5, 5, connect the dots. I was going to call on Julius, but Louis M. How long is the base that goes with Z? 10. So you take the base and you half it, divide by 2. Either way. Julius is still getting helped. Megan, what'd you get for Z? 10 divided by 2. 5. Z is 5. And our lesson is over. And now you can practice it. Oh, maybe. What time is it? So, when's our next quiz? Not till Thursday, so you've got some time for our next quiz. Tomorrow we'll learn something new, and Wednesday we'll do whiteboards and a group activity. Work on it for 5 minutes, and then don't lose it overnight. I'll give you another 5 minutes tomorrow. So you've got 5 minutes today, you've got 5 minutes tomorrow. If you can't do it in 10 minutes time, you need to do some of it at home. There you go. Did you get one, Ava? Because you moved. Here you go. Here you go.
I was just working with my partner.
You can always work with a partner, Kendall.
Always.
I'm not. This is not silent work.